And we are live. It's the second part for me of a day-night doubleheader here on Nashville Lou Live. It's Warsaken Blitz, episode 116. I'll be taking on Cartman Broad tonight in Warsaken Blitz. First things first, we got ourselves a Twitchy Tides game to get to. I didn't take the, I was testing some things out here before the broadcast. Didn't have it all set and ready to go. Rabbit Larry, thank you for the raid. Thank you. Thanks also to Sensei Bullrog for the raid as well during the countdown show. Greetings and welcome, everybody. It's Warsaken Blitz, episode 116. December 13th, 2024. I'm your host, Lou Pickney. I'll be taking on Cartman Broad tonight in Warsaken Blitz. We're going to have ourselves some Twitchy Tides games as well, so plenty for everybody here to enjoy. We got 27 players in. I'll join as well with !play in chat. It's the last chance to get in on this. We'll have this and then the first Warsaken game of the broadcast. I'll join there with the third member of my... You can set up to 5 different fish in your Twitchy team. As far as the fish in your arsenal. So for me, in the 3 spot, thank you very much to the online in for the cheer. Thank you. The 25-bit cheer. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. The online in. I'll give you a shout out right now, but I can't. Just gave one a moment ago. We'll do so again here soon. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody to Nashville Lou Live. We got 32 players in. So for the winner, I'm going to do this for these Warsaken Blitz in between these games we're going to have here. I'll be taking on Cartman Broad to start things off in just a moment. But first, we're going to get things going here with this Twitchy Tides games. We'll have this between Warsaken Blitz games. We got 32 people in there ready to go. Make that 33. Rabbit Larry's in. Thank you very much, Rabbit Larry, for the raid. To everybody, part of this Warsaken Friday train. We got 34 players in for this first Twitchy Tides game. And after that, we're going to get things going with Warsaken Blitz. I'll be taking on Cartman Broad's home doubleheader, home and home. So tonight, it's me hosting. Next Friday, it'll be Cartman on his stream hosting. I'll be playing off stream. So 34 players here. If I happen to win, prize goes to second place. That prize, an item from the Nashville Loot Collection. Give you a boost in the game Meta Battler, but also a Set 1 Warsaken booster pack provided by Warsaken for me to give away. Many thanks to Warsaken for that. But in total, we got 35 players. Got some Christmas-themed fish. Got a wide variety. So if I win, the prize goes to second place. Let me pull this down as I can't see what's happening right here. Thank you very much, CMC Ski, for the cheer. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Glad to have you here. We'll be getting these Warsaken games started here in just a moment. Immortal Wombat's going to give us 36. Let's go ahead and get to it. If I win again, that prize goes to second place. Good luck. So it's Warsaken opening with this Twitchy Tides game. Everybody get some rep in here. Many thanks to Sensei Bullrog for the raid. Many thanks to Rabbit Larry for the raid. So early on, that hook takes out Autumn's Toys and Flower. We're down to 34. Had more than 4 hours just with Twitchy Tides as a standalone this morning. This game is legit. I tell you what. You know I love Warsaken. That's my ride or die. But I love Twitchy Tides as well. It's been so beneficial for people like me that love Wax gaming on the Wax chain, but also love streaming here on Twitch. And I kind of just fell into this world being a sports broadcaster by trade. Worked for years in the television news business. Done a wide variety of things in broadcasting. Nashville SC. It was amazing to see Nashville SC go from that 2017, that U23 season, kind of a ramp up before playing in the USL. And then by February 2020, playing over there at Nissan Stadium where the Titans play. And there's Nashville SC as a full-fledged MLS team. Endured the pandemic, of course, but now Nashville SC has its own beautiful new stadium. And the cool thing for me, as long as Nashville SC's around, that soccer club's legacy is forever matched with my broadcasting legacy. They're still around years and years from now. When they do retrospect, and they go back and be talking in 2017 about professional soccer being ready to go on a major level here in Nashville. And sure enough, we've got it. So we're down to 24. Now we have a lot of international viewers. What is this soccer? Why do you call football soccer? Why do you call a different sport football? I don't have answers for you on all these things. I don't make the rules. So we're down to 22 here in this game that's getting us started here with Twitchy Tides. We'll get to Warsaken Blitz here in a moment. Let's see. All right, sounds good. Carmen, sounds good. Be ready momentarily. So we'll have these Twitchy Tides games in between Warsaken Blitz games. It'll be me taking on Cartman and Warsaken, but a chance for everybody to play here with these Twitchy Tides games. Down to 20, starting with 36. I should have gone for a more aggressive approach with the enemies, but what we have, down to 19. More than half of the field is out. Down to 15. We'll get started with Warsaken Blitz here as soon as this Twitchy Tides game concludes. Disappointed we get to see Terran Lore build a dam there in that bottom left corner with the Buster Beaver. What was that scarce rarity, I believe it is. Cannonball, we're down to 10. So I'll be taking on Cartman Brawl. Again, this is a home and home kind of approach here, where I'm hosting tonight. I'll be playing here on stream for me. Then next Friday, Cartman will be hosting. We'll be playing, be on his stream. I'll have stuff I can record for later use. But as far as being live, that way we don't split the audience. That's kind of the approach here. I think that's going to be the way to go as far as I'm concerned for my broadcasts with Warsaken. Down to 7 here. Should have gone for a faster mode. Many thanks again to Sensei Bullrog for the raid. Of course, Rabbit Larry with the raid as well. So we're down to a half dozen, starting with 36. Winner gets a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. Down to 5. And that's what I'll have as the prize here tonight for these Twitchy Tides games that we're going to have between these Warsaken Blitz games. If I miss anybody in chat, not intentional oversight. Hello, Valky. Depth charge has us down to 4. Random King, Drew Marr, CMC Ski, Jeff 0079 in there. Winner of this gets a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack and an item from the Nashville Loot Collection. Drew Marr's out. We're down to 3. I'll be taking on Cartman Brawl coming up in Warsaken Blitz. People wanting to play games tonight, you'll have opportunities with more of these Twitchy Tides games between Warsaken Blitz games. The next week we'll do it the opposite way, where Cartman Brawl will be hosting. We're down to 3. Definitely should have gone for faster enemies to open it up, but live and learn. Debo takes out Random King. We're down to 2. Jeff 0079 and CMC Ski, the last 2. And up next, Warsaken Blitz. I'll be taking on Cartman Brawl. I have a series of games coming up between now and later in the evening, and CMC Ski gets the win. So congratulations, CMC Ski, first winner here in this broadcast of Twitchy Tides. So you'll get that Warsaken Set 1 booster pack and the item from the Nashville Loot Collection. And of course, for the top 10 finishers, you're getting leaderboard points. TwitchyTides.io and TwitchyTides.io is the website. You want to see once they get everything up to speed with the scoreboard and all, I'll be plenty to check out there. CMC gets the win. Congratulations. We'll be back open for this next game. It'll be a little bit until we get to it, because I've got some Warsaken Blitz to play right now. Many thanks to Cartman for being patient. So it's back open with exclamation point play. See on screen there, like when there's a severe weather watch in effect, they get the little pop-up screen when you're trying to watch golf on a Sunday afternoon. All right, so let's see. Okay, so I'm going to send the code over to Cartman here in just a moment. Got 5 different decks here. Got the gold. There's gold to gold to gold. I can show you real fast. Pull down that categories overlay. We'll have plenty of chances to check that out through the course of the broadcast. So I've got the gold optimized for game reward XP. Was at one point a admit-only hex tech. There are some non-hex techs in there, but it's mostly that. Dog deck. We'll get to the dog deck. And of course my night vision, my go-to. We'll start things off with gold, gold, gold. And why not? So I'm taking on Cartman Bra here in Warsaken Blitz, and we're going to have some Twitchy Tides games for everybody to be able to have some fun there between these Warsaken Blitz games over the course of the next 2+ hours. Make sure the proper overlay is up, make sure I've got what I want here with the deck, and I do. Let's type over in this Discord chat to Cartman this code. So I think this will work out well for me as far as streaming Warsaken Blitz. We'll have this for tonight here, and then next Friday, it'll be Cartman hosting live on his stream. We'll play with an aggregate score, but playing, showing off Warsaken Blitz and some of the various options that you get with this game. We want to get into that next Twitchy Tides game that we'll have after this Warsaken Blitz game concludes. Just type exclamation mark play in chat. Pardon me. Winners of these Twitchy Tides games we'll have between the Warsaken Blitz games. You winning Warsaken. I didn't have the audio turned up for the Warsaken. So with Warsaken Blitz, you've got, with a proper deck, you got 15 sets of 4. You got 6 different categories. In my case, you only have 5 you really have to worry about, with morale not being a big part of the way I approach this usually. Building, force, intel, weather, WMD. That overlay I have on the screen with the categories, I think proves pretty helpful as far as helping people to understand. You get with that 15 sets of 4, gets you your arsenal, your deck is 60. From that, you're dealt 8 cards to start off with. I'm looking for something I can work with right away. A pair of either weather, intel, or force cards. I've got a pair of force cards. I can work with that. Something to work with. You don't want to use those mulligans if you don't have to, because sometimes what you get is worse than what you had. And then you've got a tough decision. So I'm going to keep this. Look at that starting 8 in hand, and it's luck of the draw who gets to go first. In this case, it's me. Roll 2. So the way this is going to work tonight, I'm taking on Cartman Bra here in Warsaken Blitz. If you're wanting to play Warsaken Blitz, we'll have opportunities later after my part of it's over, but you will have opportunities to play with Twitchy Tides. An exclamation point play. Type that in chat if you want to get that next Twitchy Tides game. So roll a 2. Let's go with those force cards. This is why I want something to work with initially. I don't know what I'm going to roll, what I'm going to draw. I would rather play intel, I'd rather play weather, but I don't have a pair of either. I'm not going to play building cards right now. It's just not the way I do things, usually. So instead we'll go 4, Sergeant Taven Reed. Pair of force cards, that ends the turn. In your war zone, you've got 4 spots, 4 rows, essentially. Roll 3. 2 of the same card, like I have there with Sergeant Taven Reed, even though it's different looking cards, the same card title. That just takes up 1 spot in those 4. You have to be careful what you have out there in your war zone. An intel match from your opponent can bounce cards from your war zone to your discard pile. Plus, you can end up getting in your way of your spots if all 4 rows are filled up with other cards and you've got limited rolls or limited actions you can take. I can roll the die. Sometimes that makes all the difference. So a pair of force cards and a weather card. And you can tell by looking at that insignia, that emblem on the bottom left. Again, there's only 5 categories, but except morale can come into play as well. But most will be 5 categories, force and weather out there. You'll see a lot of that. My turn. 6. All right, nothing makes a match. I've got 3 spots open in my war zone. 6 actions here. So an easy choice to play a pair of weather cards with Tropical Cyclone. There are only 4 of these blood foil Tropical Cyclone cards. I own all 4 of them. Which is going to make it... That, to me, is going to be I'm going to use as a recruiting tool. We get to put teams together. Once Game Reward XP is ready, it's going to be part of it, getting teams put together. Be able to rent out your deck. If you have tenant cards or for those with owner cards, even more so. But there'll be other options as well for people. Anyway, so we got a pair of forest cards, pair of weather cards. 2 spots open in my war zone with 4 actions for the turn. Here's why I approach things a bit differently. It's been a change for me gradually over time. You can force a pair. I wouldn't put WMDs out there right now anyway. There's really not anything I would play normally in this situation regardless. But let's say I had a pair of forest cards. I could put it out there, but then that's filling up the 3rd spot in my war zone. And kind of find myself hamstrung on that next roll if I need to put something else out there and can't. And don't have enough actions to pull back cards and then play what I want. So, as weird as it seems, it's counterintuitive, it feels like in some ways, but sometimes it's the best move because you're not putting stuff out there to be vulnerable. Passing up to 4 remaining actions, ending the turn. So I'm taking on Cartman Bra with this Warsaken Blitz, episode 116. For people wanting to play, we'll have Twitchy Tides coming up after this Warsaken Blitz game ends. You can get in on that with exclamation point play. Winners tonight of these Twitchy Tides games. There's a force match. That force match will eliminate one of my 4 territories. We're down to 3. 3 actions to go for the turn. And again, next Friday, I'll be playing Cartman Bra. And it'll be Cartman live on his stream. So we'll have that as part of the train that Warsaken Friday. That's coming up next week. So a pair of force cards to go with a weather card, 1 action for the turn. So tonight I'm taking on Cartman Bra and Warsaken Blitz. For the audience, for everybody, we'll have these Twitchy Tides games in between. Those are certainly a popular draw. All right, so a pair of force cards, a weather card, and then a WMD. We'll look for that insignia. It doesn't matter if it's ideal conditions or a tornado. If you have a weather match, that's what matters in this game. The categories are what matter. That's why I focus on that with that overlay. My turn. It's not that difficult to figure out how to play Warsaken Blitz. All right, this works out pretty well here as far as the intel cards, roll of 4. So I can do a little bit of bouncing here. Suit X. But it's just the fact that it's an intel match. They all behave the same in Blitz. It's the simplified version of Warsaken. It's designed to be easy to learn, especially for new players. So Suit X. Let's bounce. And the Warsaken with a 5,000-bit cheer. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Greatly appreciated. Many thanks to the Warsaken. I'm typing this properly. But overdo it in chat here. Many thanks. If you don't follow the Warsaken, you should. This game is so much fun to play. It's fun to bounce cards. A little bouncing here. Force card. John Ryder, Oil Engineer, bounce.
Select target.
Weather. Cloud cover, bounce.
Select target.
WMD. The CX5 viral outbreak. We don't want that around. Bounce. Those cards get bounced from my opponent's war zone to my opponent's discard pile. You can use a building match to bring cards from your discard pile to your hand. You can also move cards to your discard pile to your arsenal, to your deck. You're trying to compromise your opponent's leader. To do so, you have to either eliminate all of your opponent's territories, get their morale, that number on the shield, down to 0, or get the number of cards in their arsenal down to 0. Any of those 3 things happen, your opponent's got a compromised leader. Once your opponent's got a compromised leader, all you need is a force match to win the game. Pretty straightforward, and yet no 2 games are ever really the same in Warsaken Blitz. Many thanks again to the Warsaken for that 5,000-bit cheer. Greatly appreciated. I want to gloss over that at all. Thrilled to have all y'all with me here for this Warsaken Blitz broadcast. I'm going to pass up this action in the turn. So I'm taking on Cartman Bra tonight in these Warsaken Blitz games. And for the audience, for you, the audience, you'll have a chance to play in Twitchy Tides. We'll have Twitchy Tides games coming up here between the Warsaken Blitz games. I take on Cartman Brawl. And then next week, we're going to run it back. It's like a home and home series compared to with football, whether you're talking about international football, what Americans might call soccer, or the home and home. Ohio State will play you in 7 years and 8 years. They'll play at your place. Home and home series. That's kind of the idea, though. Just wanting to avoid splitting the audience. Also a chance for new people to learn about new streamers and all sorts of new opportunities here with Warsaken Blitz and with Twitchy Tides. I'm glad I bounced that WMD because 2 of those are out there now. Along with that John Ryder. My turn. 3. All right, I've got a force match. Also got building cards, but the only thing a building match can go back for is intel. So, I mean, that could be a play at some point, but it's not going to be here. Right here, I'm going to play Sergeant Taven Reed Force. I'm going to bounce one of my opponent's 4 territories. Also Golden Farmlands. -4 morale. So it eliminates one of those 4 territories. It drops the morale from 19 down to 15. Now, that's not going to really come into play here, but morale does sometimes come into play. If you watch Rabbit Larry streams much at all, you know I think she works into her repertoire on a fairly regular basis, especially those unique cards that she has. All right, 2 actions for the turn. Got 3 spots open in my war zone. We're both down to 3 territories. You can play at most 1 WMD match per side to give a game of Warsaken Blitz. That eliminates 2 of your opponent's territories. Or at most 2. If they're down to 1, then they can only take out the 1. Sometimes that's the way it works out. So a few options here for me, but I'm just going to pass them up. Pass up those last 2 actions, end the turn. Taking on Cartman Brawl here in Warsaken Blitz. Roll a 6. That goes from 8 cards to 14. Rabbit Larry saying, I love my uniques. And you should. Those are some cool cards. Those unique cards. I like them. Pair of force cards, pair of WMDs. 5 actions for the turn. I'm just going for this 6. Post in chat. Seeing Cartman roll that. There's a force match. That will eliminate a 2nd territory. I'm down to 2 territories. If Cartman gets a WMD match, that would give me a compromised leader. It would give me 0 territories remaining. Once that happens, it's like if your morale hits 0, or if your number of remaining cards in your arsenal hits 0. It means compromised leader. You'll see the red ring of death like it's an Xbox 360 around your leader. Pair of force cards. Where it sometimes gets interesting in Warsaken Blitz is if you've played a pair of force matches already, you've got a 3rd force match ready to go. How long do you wait for a WMD match to show up? Sometimes that's going to depend on your deck configuration. A number of other factors. My turn. 4. All right, got that WMD I was waiting on. So I'll be able to play a WMD match right here with Maw's Gas. And again, it doesn't matter that it's Maw's Gas. That just happens to be what I have 3 of here. It's just the fact that it's a WMD match is all that matters. With Warsaken Blitz being the simplified version. Easy to learn, easy to play. That's true, Rabbit Larry. There are some limitations as far as you'll play all those unique cards. Gotta get another one of those with that's like a vast hinterland for the next set. The equivalent. Alright, WMD match. Eliminate 2 of my opponent's 3 remaining territories. We'll take out St. Purcell Harbor. And Port of Carmasani. So essentially here, I need 2 force matches to win. Once we eliminate that last territory, the other to then eliminate will then be a compromised leader. Got 3 spots open in my war zone. Only 1 action to go for the turn. I'll play a weather card here. Geomagnetic Disturbance. That's it for my turn. A roll of 2. So I'm taking on Cartman Brawl here tonight in these Warsaken Blitz games. Next week, we'll do the rematch. We're taking on Cartman live on Cartman's stream. And I'll be off stream here So that should be a lot of fun. A little contrasting between the two approaches. Pair of weather cards. Go with the 2 sets of 2 force and pair of WMDs out there. So that's where it's 4 wide and 2 deep. My turn. 2. That's not a very good sign for me here. Roll a 2. I'm not going to risk putting building cards out there in partial form. Even at this point, I'm just not going to do that. Instead, I'll play a second weather card here with geomagnetic disturbance. So I've got 2 sets of 2 weather. 2 spots open in my war zone. Only 1 action to go for the turn. Remember, if you put it out there in your war zone, it could get bounced. Even if your opponent hasn't shown that they have intel, doesn't mean that they don't have it. They won't surprise you necessarily. Anyway, I'm going to leave what I have there as it is. Pass up that last action, end the turn. And now it's Cartman's turn. That's the way it works here, Warsaken Blitz. Roll 3. After this Warsaken Blitz game concludes, we'll have our next Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. You can get in on that by typing !play in chat. Winner of these Twitchy Tides games tonight, winning a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. My turn. 3. All right. Weather match can give me an extra turn. I can play 2 of the Dreadnoughts. I know the extra turn is going to be a minimum of 1. So even with a bad roll, I can still play a 3rd Dreadnought. Eliminate that last territory, give my opponent a compromise later. Got to do it in the right order. Usually, when in doubt, when it comes to Warsaken Blitz, play your weather first. I want that extra turn. Play a pair of Dreadnought 6 force cards. I need to get 2 force matches to win the game. I know for a fact I'll get 1 here, even if I roll 1. 4. Got a weather match with that tropical cyclone. But first things first, let's go ahead and play this 3rd Dreadnought 6 force. That force match eliminates my opponent's final territory, vast hinterland. So now Cartman Bra is going to have a compromise later. I told you so. 3 actions here for the turn. Now, I don't have. If I had a trio of force cards ready to go, then this would be over. But I don't. So instead, I can play this tropical cyclone. I can play 2 of the. I can play tropical cyclone. I don't have enough where I can go plus 3 actions. I'd be 1 shy on that, I think. I'd play this cyclone, I'd be down to 2. Even if I go plus 5, I can play the 3 building cards. But I'm bringing back a force match for the win, and I'll only be able to play 2 of them there. Whereas if I play this tropical cyclone just like this, and go extra turn, if I roll a 4 or higher, I get the win. That might have been my most articulate explanation, but I've had a lot of broadcasting hours in today. Extra turn, that I can tell you. So I know I can play 2 of the 3, unless I wanted to put weather out there instead, but no need for that. If I get the extra turn, if I roll a 4 or higher, I can win. I'll be able to play that 3rd building card, go back and get the force match, get the force cards I need to get a force match to win the game. 5, so it's going to happen right here. I don't have to use the building cards, though. Flex with my blood foil. TX6 force for the win. That's how it works. All right. Good game, Cartman. With a quick update here. We hit 7 p.m. Eastern. A quick reset. This is Nashville New Live with Warsaken Blitz taking on Cartman Bra. We will have another Tides game and ready for more Blitz if that works for you. So good to go here with Cartman. Mentioned having a lot of pairs. Sometimes it'll happen to a bunch of pairs of cards. You won't have that third that you need. All right. Oh, that's the wrong one. I was way off. Although I probably should have set that up better, but sometimes the technical stuff is where I run into trouble with this. All right, 33 players in for this next Twitchy Tides game. And the winner of this next one is going to win an item from the Nashville Loot Collection and a Set 1 booster pack from Warsaken. Many thanks to Warsaken for that very generous 5,000 bit cheer earlier. Many thanks for the cheers. Had a couple of raids already. Having a blast here with Warsaken Blitz. The fun will continue after we're done here taking on Cartman Bra. But right now, getting ready for this next Twitchy Tides game. We got 34 players. I should join as well, shouldn't I? Exclamation point play. This time I'll use the Vape Ape from Las Vegas Ape. All right. So last call here for exclamation point play to get in. I've been here for a few minutes here waiting for this Warsaken Blitz, that first game to conclude. So that's the way it's going to work here for this next couple of hours. Be taking on Cartman Bra, and in between that, everybody gets a chance to play with Twitchy Tides. And a chance if you win that Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. We give it away with each of these Twitchy Tides games here. Of course, then next week we'll be playing. It'll be a rematch with Cartman Bra, but this time Cartman in the host role. Be live on stream Friday of next week, so that should be fun. Kind of home and home approach here. So 36. If I happen to win here, prize goes to second place. Here we go. Good luck. It's Twitchy Tides here on Nashville Loot Live. We'll have more Warsaken Blitz here in just a couple of minutes. The winner here gets a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. Down to 30, but a little bit less talkative with some of these Twitchy Tides games. Got my voice, have a moment or two to rest. But I have so much fun playing Warsaken Blitz. I can't wait for Game Reward XP mode. Once that's ready, it's going to be very interesting. Had Buster Beaver building a dam there in the bottom left corner. Tearing lore. One way to keep the enemies away, at least for a bit. Bug back up there in the corner. So prizes will be sent out shortly after the conclusion of the broadcast. CMC won the first Twitchy Tides game. This is game number 2 of this broadcast. This second part of a day-night doubleheader for me. Sometimes when in sports broadcasting, sometimes you have to call a lot in a short amount of time. Earlier this year, I had to call 6 NCAA men's lacrosse games in the span of about 36 hours. By the end of that 6th one, I was hurting. But I'm not afraid of a challenge or giving it a try. So we're down to 22. So when this Twitchy Tides game ends, we'll get the next Warsaken Blitz game going. I know that Cartman Bra is ready for a rematch. So again, I'm hosting for this Friday. Next Friday be Cartman on his stream hosting. I'll be in the guest, the visitor, away, home and away. I'll be the away side. That should be fun. We're down to 17, more than half the 16, more than half the field's out. Pink Felicia. And I'm not going to wear green. I'm not going to wear blue. I'm only wearing pink. I was talking about that with Rabbit Larry. her stream that trying to switch Felicia, just not happening right now. Although I'm sure the next update they'll have it, it'll be ready to go. There's so many different parts and pieces to Twitchy Tides, and yet it all seems to fit together wonderfully. Great artwork, collision detection, where you can customize it. You can have it where there's unlimited kills, whereas I've got it capped on a certain number for every crossing, every time I cross there. Appear on camera. Cannonball. Cannonball I've got set at 3. Or maybe more. I forget. Oh, I think it's 3. Again, Terran Lore setting up shop there in that bottom left corner. I didn't take the bug down. Need to move it to the right corner, maybe. We're down to 7. We'll have that next Warsaken Blitz game here as I'm taking on Cartman Braw tonight. The winner of this game right here wins at Warsaken Set 1 Booster Pack. Pink Felicia cut and throw. We're down to 5. Down to 3, Zach Bonifer, Going Tonto, Terran Lore, the last 3. One of these 3 is going to win a Warsaken Set 1 Booster Pack. Again, many thanks to the Warsaken for that 5,000-bit cheer earlier. Trying to hide my logo there in the corner. Going Tonto gets the hook from Big Worm. Terran Lore, that Buster Beaver, that dam built in the corner. Zach Bonifer in there as well, the last 2. Don't click on something that's a full screen by mistake. Zach Bonifer is taken up by that hook from Big Worm. So congratulations. Terran Lore gets the victory in this second Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. Congratulations. And of course, for the top 10 finishers, getting leaderboard points in that monthly competition, TwitchyTides.io is the website. For Master, Halo, and on up. Top 10 finisher points. And for Terran Lore the victory, you'll get that item from the Nashville Loot Collection and that Warsaken Set 1 Booster Pack. Prizes will be sent out shortly after the conclusion of the broadcast. They'll come from my fulfillment wallet. We're back open right now for this next Twitchy Tides game. It'll be just a little bit before we get to it, but it's open now for you. Exclamation point play in chat. All right, so let me make sure that Carmen's right there. I'm going to get a code ready. Make sure that I have the right thing pulled up over here. So I had some success there, that gold deck. And for this one, we'll go with the optimized for Game Reward XP. President Ziana. Code is obstructed from your view, but I'll be able to type it into Cartman. So again, next Friday, it'll be Cartman hosting in a home and home series. Very much like in the vein of what you see in the world of American college sports or international football. Sort of aggregate score being kept here, I don't think, but chance to have some fun playing Warsaken Blitz, and a chance for everybody to have fun in between games for those Twitchy Tides games. So we're open for the next Twitchy Tides game with exclamation point play in chat.
Warsaken.
There we go, get that Warsaken intro right there. Have the audio input capture turned on to start things off before. All right. I already know for a fact it's a keeper when you got the cards dancing before they load up. It means you have a match in hand, which is pretty nice when you have that with your starting 8. Remember, you got your 15 sets of 4 that you have in your arsenal. To have enough cards to play Warsaken, it might sound daunting, but it's really not that much as far as you need 65. You need a leader card, 4 territory cards, and then your arsenal of 60, 15 sets of 4. Mostly they'll fall into 5 categories: building, force, intel, weather, WMD. Morale sometimes comes into play, but for the purposes of those learning the game for the first time, makes it even easier. The categories are what matter for Blitz. There's a lot of very detailed explanation on these cards. So for the purposes of Blitz, if you've got an intel match, it doesn't matter if it's an assassination attempt, targeted sabotage, whatever. A category that matters. I'm going to keep this. I can use the mulligan there. This is the code incoming game mat that I'm using with this deck today. But this time, Cartman Bra gets to go first. Luck of the draw on that, and it's a roll of 6. So it's exclamation point play to get in for the next Twitchy Tides game. We'll have that after this second Warsaken Blitz game of the broadcast concludes. That's a 4s match there for Cartman. So I'm down to 3 territories. Remember, if I hit 0 territories, at that point I'll have a compromised leader. A 4s match eliminates one of your opponent's territories. A WMD match eliminates 2. But you can play at most 1 WMD match per side in a given game of Warsaken Blitz. Pair of 4s cards right there for Cartman Bra. My opponent for these Warsaken Blitz games for this broadcast tonight. And for everybody else, a chance to play Twitchy Tides, exclamation mark play, get you in for that next game, which will come at the conclusion of this Warsaken Blitz game that I have here with Cartman. Taking on Cartman here, roll a 4. So I can bounce those cards from Cartman's War Zone. I could force a discard. There's a thought to maybe doing that. 8 cards in hand, but there have already been actions used to put those cards out there in the War Zone. Pair of 4s cards, always pretty decent idea to bounce force. Can't complain too much about the weather. So we'll play 3 of these targeted sabotage cards. Intel match. That's the part that matters. But you've got an intel match in Warsaken Blitz. You got 3 choices. You can bounce 3 cards like I'm going to do here in a moment. You could force your opponent to discard 3 like I contemplated. If you're going to do that, the earlier the better. And definitely do it before your opponent plays a WMD match, if you're going to force a discard. Milling 6 cards from your opponent's arsenal to their discard pile. Remember I said you can have an opponent with a compromised leader if their arsenal hits 0. You get some very intel-heavy decks. That usually is when you'll see the milling happen. No fun to have your arsenal milled. In this case, it's going to bounce. We'll bounce everything here. Liquidation style. Both of these 4s cards with Private John. Weather, cloud cover, bounce. Those cards get bounced. My opponent's War Zone to the discard pile. Now, a building match can pull those cards from the discard pile to my opponent's hand. All part of the balance of Warsaken Blitz. 1 action to go here for the turn for me. And nothing's really overwhelming as far as I think I would want to play here. You can play a one-off weather, but I'm not going to. Pass up the action in the turn. Some people play this very differently. They're far more aggressive about it. And sometimes that works out better for other players. Sometimes I don't play it aggressively enough and it costs me. But I've also seen a lot of things go sideways because I put it out there in my War Zone. You can't assume that your opponent's not going to have intel. Even if they normally don't play it. You never know. They can switch it up on you. And surprise. 2 actions to go here for the turn. Taking on Cartman. I'm taking on Cartman in these Warsaken Blitz games tonight. The Warbot on the stream now. Nice. Warbot with loot. Sweet loot payouts. A pair of WMDs out there. For a WMD match would eliminate 2 of my territories. I only have 3 left. That's definitely noteworthy too. Okay. Not great because the only pairs that I have I don't want to play. Because they could be easy targets for an intel match. Look at that card right there, that Demon Shield. You get 1 G-Force per deck. That thing from a Game Reward XP, that's going to be that's some fun. But for the purposes of Blitz, it can be the same as a common Force card. The fact that it's Force is what matters. Do 3 the same title. Anyway, I can hem and haw about this all day, but it's not going to change it. Just to flex, I'll play this Blood Foil Tropical Cyclone, just the one of them, just to do it. I'll pass it the last action in the turn. Cards, taking on Cartman Bra here in Warsaken Blitz. We'll have another Twitchy Tides game coming up here before too long. Exclamation point play will get you in for that next Twitchy Tides game. That's what we're having in between Warsaken Blitz games here in this broadcast. I'm taking on Cartman Bra tonight. It's a home and home series. So for tonight, it's me with the live stream. I'm the one hosting. Next week, Cartman will be live. Cartman will be hosting. I'll be playing the road to the away team, the visitor. I can't wait for Game Reward XP. We get those Seasons of War, and I've got a tangible target. I put that big chart up on the screen. I can already visualize it right now. I know how I'm going to do it. I've been watching some of the very best people as far as live streaming on Twitch with card games. So there's certain ideas I have from that. There are ideas I have from my years in television, whether TV news, sports, whatever. 2 actions here for the turn. Pair of WMDs and a weather card out there. We're going to look for that emblem, that insignia in that bottom left corner. And with that categories overlay, it's a very easy way at a glance you can figure out. That skull, it means business at WMD. The weather, it's kind of like a cloud with some sun behind it. Partially cloudy, the 7-day forecast. The 10-day outlook. 10 cards in hand for my opponent, for Cartman. 2 actions that are passed up there to end the turn. You notice that the die changed. You can have a wide array of customizations here in Warsaken Blitz. Everything from the way the die looks to the way the mat, game mat, to the way the card sleeves, the backs of the cards. Even the title. Mine's covered at the moment, but roll a 6. Anyway, there's some great options as far as customizing that. Not so great at my options here. Nothing makes a match. Bunch of cards. It's like what Cartman was describing from before. In our first game, having a bunch of, where you got 2 of something, but not 3. Some of that's even wishful thinking for some of this for me. Bunch of pairs that I don't want to play, or I don't know which pair would be the ones I need to put out there necessarily. Ugh. This is why I don't normally play one-off weathers either, because now that's kind of just out there. And I can pull it back, but for what? I don't want to put building cards out there. I don't put WMDs out there. Means I got limited options. Okay, I can play Force though. So I'll quit. Stop my whining. Get that G-Force out there, Demon Shield. So you get at most 1 G-Force, but it's just the same as a regular Force. It says that that's one of the exceptions to the categories. So it's like, well, Lou, you said it's supposed to be that for a Force. Well, if it's a G-Force, you got the G. 4 actions here. I can do a pullback on the weather, but then I've got 2 sets of 2 Force out there. That can be problematic if your opponent's got intel cards. You're starting to get multiple sets of Force cards messed up. And sometimes it goes from bad to worse. But you don't know what kind of a configuration your opponent might have. No way to know. All right. Pull back on the Cyclone. Play a pair of Force cards. One of my favorite Force cards in the game. The A4 Revenge Super Carrier. What a name. That's a monster of a card right there. Look at those, are both rank 4s. They're bringing out the heavy stuff. All right, pal. It's Friday night. Getting the hard stuff. Bringing it. And yet that has the same effect that a common rank 1 Force would have. For the purposes of Warsaken Blitz. The simplified version of Warsaken. Now, there will be ramifications as far as Game Reward XP once that's ready to go. But for now, the high-end cards function exactly the same as a rank 1 common would. Alright, so I'm going to pass up the action, keep those last 2 spots in my war zone open in the turn. Taking on Cartman Bra. We'll have another Twitchy Tides game after this game of Warsaken Blitz concludes. Rule of 4. 14 cards and 4 actions here for Cartman Bra. I'm down to 3 territories. With the objective of the Warsaken Blitz, you're trying to compromise your opponent's leader. Force match. This will eliminate a second territory for me. I'll be on to 2. If Cartman gets a WMD match, that would eliminate my final 2 territories. One action for the turn. Like, if there's a third WMD to match those 2 out there, I'll have a compromised leader. Instead, it's a second weather card. So a pair of WMDs and a pair of weather cards for Cartman Bra. My turn. People are saying, well, when do I get to play, Lou? When do I do something? You get a chance to play some Twitchy Tides coming up after this game. Exclamation mark play. Type that in chat to get in for Twitchy Tides. So I rolled a 2. This is just not... There's not a lot of options here for me that are particularly pleasing. There's a story. I'm not going to play it here. I'll show you this rummage card. It's a rank 4 intel. Those are hard to come by. This is the black camo. This is it's a high-end card, is my point. So this is my game reward XP kind of like optimized deck. There was an important one in there. People looking for black camo cards. But look, I'm sorry. I can't unload this. That's the one I can't get rid of. Because I don't have anything that would be a comparable replacement. You can't even find, like... Anyway, I'm not going to get the minutia behind it. Point is, that's a card that's come up in conversation at Rummage. Tell Sting I'm legit about that. I really do have a need for it here. I'm not trying to be stubborn. All right, 2 actions here. I've got nothing. Nothing. Pass up the actions in the turn. Taking on Cartman Bra. Playing Warsaken Blitz. We'll have Twitchy Tides coming up after this Blitz game concludes. We'll take this to, I believe it's 9 p.m. Eastern when Heretic will go live. The next part of this Warsaken Friday. If you're wanting to play Warsaken Blitz, you'll have that opportunity coming up here after this concludes for me. Of course, everybody gets to play when it comes to Twitchy Tides. All you have to do is type exclamation mark play in chat to do that. So it's 15 cards in hand and 5 actions here for Cartman Bra. Weather match. That weather match will mean an extra turn unless you go +3 actions. You could do. If your opponent goes +3 actions, it usually means you're about to lose. Sometimes it means there's a misplay, but usually, if you're especially against a seasoned opponent, when that happens, like, uh-oh, they're winding up. The concern for me is getting a WMD to hit me. The question when you have a third force match in hand, you've already played 2, like what has happened here. How long do you wait for that WMD match to show up? Sometimes it never does. Pair of force cards. Agent Nika Devin, the sneaky one. Extra turn, roll a 3. 13 cards, 3 actions for Cartman Bra. We've got 28 players in already for that next Twitchy Tides game. You can join the list by typing exclamation mark play in chat. That's coming up after this Warsaken Blitz game concludes. Well, I tell you about Intel, you gotta be careful with it. Well, I go 2 wide, 2 sets of 2 force, and look what I got. That's my reward. I mean, maybe it's gonna be force me to discard. Maybe it'll mill cards from my arsenal, but I think I know what's gonna happen next. Well, let's see. Maybe Cartman will surprise me. So for next Friday, well, I'm chalk that up as surprise. Instead of bouncing those force cards that milled 6 cards from my arsenal to my discard pile. Interesting approach. My turn. 4. So I've got building cards. Actually, go. Let's see if anything good showed up in here that I could use. Anything I could use this turn. The answer is yes. Yes, there is thing I can use here. But do I want to play this at this point? The answer, well, I got enough other sets of 2 sitting around. Just throwing 4 turns in the trash at this point would be a mistake. Especially if I've got an option like this sitting there. Too good to pass up. All right, hyper defense barrier. Although look before you leap. When it comes to building cards. I'm going to get 3 in total I can bring from my discard pile to my hand. I go with that. Could go with 2 of those. Am I sitting on over here? There's my force cards. I got one of these. Go a couple of glaciers. Demon shield. Play the demon shield. That'll be it for my turn. Hyper defense barrier. That's a building card match. Now, if your arsenal is getting milled, and that's what's happened to me surprisingly in that last turn, you can return 6 cards from your discard pile to your arsenal. In this case, what I normally do with building matches, take 3 cards from your discard pile to your hand. Even if they weren't discards per se, they ended up there, you can go get them. Make sure you get the right stuff, though. Be careful. I feel like I almost botched that. So with the demon shield. Those glaciers. Got 1 action for the turn. Demon shield. Force match. That force match eliminates one of my opponent's 4 territories. Golden farmlands. It's -4 morale. That 19 will turn to a 15. That's it for my turn. Keep in mind, I'm down to 2 territories. Rule of 4. A WMD match and a force match could beat me right here. 14 cards and 4 actions for Cartman Bra. After this Warsaken Blitz game concludes, we'll have our next Twitchy Tides game with the broadcast. Winner of that next Twitchy Tides game is going to win a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. Already got 2. People have won earlier in the broadcast. We'll have a 3rd winner decided coming up. Weather match. Again, fear that +3 actions, the flex. Because that usually means it's going to be curtains for you. That's going to be end of the road. Again, the question, if you got a 3rd force match in hand and you've already played 2 sets of 3 force, how long do you wait if you're holding out for a WMD match? How long? Pair of force cards. John Ryder, Oil Engineer. So an A4 Revenge Super Carrier and Oil Engineer function the same as far as if they're a force match, that's all that matters. Makes it so much easier to learn how to play this game. You just have to learn the categories. Roll 2 for that extra turn. 13 cards, 2 actions. The concern for me is this: is there a 3rd WMD in there? We got 2 of those out there that sub-launched attack. A 3rd would give me a compromised leader. That's it for the turn. Taking on Cartman Bra here in these Warsaken Blitz games tonight. Twitchy Tides open for everybody. Exclamation point play in chat. Now, interesting here. Rolled a 2. So, of course. But I can't play too conservatively at this point. Triggered Meltdown. WMD. Radioactive. I do that knowing I might not get another roll. Roll a 3. A WMD match and a force match could beat me. 16 cards and 3 actions here for Cartman Bra. Playing here in Warsaken Blitz. WMD match. This will give me a compromised lead, or a force match would beat me. But that's it for the turn. You see the red ring of death there around my President Ziana, my leader card. And yet, we'll see what happens here. I know I can get this WMD match. Can I get that and 2 force matches? I might not get another roll after this one, especially staring that down. Let's see. 1. All right, well. Found a way to at least play this Triggered Meltdown WMD match. This will eliminate 2 of my opponent's 3 remaining territories. So Cartman Bra is going to be down to 1 territory. But this is going to end my turn. If Cartman's already got a 3rd force match in hand, which I think is very likely there with John Ryder, it might not even matter with that roll of 4. 17 cards. A force match would beat me. That's going to do it. A force match. Agent Zera for the win. All right, good game. Cartman victorious. All right. Have that note here. It's Tides game that ready for Blitz. And I'm writing very like fractured sounding sentences. Sometimes this I'm trying to chat in a limited amount of time. I'm trying to communicate quickly. Alright, so congratulations on the victory to Cartman Bra. We'll have more wars. I've missed playing Warsaken Blitz. This game is so much fun. You know what else is fun? Twitchy Tides. 32 players in for this next Twitchy Tides game. You can get him with exclamation point play in chat. Last call for this. That I get in. Exclamation play. This time I'll use Neon Leon. So 33 players. The winner of this game gets an item from the Nashville Loot Collection, along with a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack provided by Warsaken for me to give away. Many thanks. Greatly appreciated. So 33 players lined up here. If I happen to win, prize goes to second place. After this, we'll have another Warsaken Blitz game. I'll be taking on Cartman Bra. But right now, it's Twitchy Tides here on Nashville Lou Live in this game. This next Twitchy Tides game begins now. Good luck. Twitchy Tides, Nashville Lou Live. With more Warsaken Blitz just ahead. A wide variety of commands. Oh, it's a baby shark party there. We got a disco ball. The fun doesn't just end when I'm done here. When these games with Cartman Bra continues with Heretic going live. I believe it'll be 9 p.m. Eastern. Then later tonight, Soul the Cat's going to be live. So looking forward to that. So I'm tied 1-1 with Cartman Bra. Home and Home series. I'm hosting here for this Friday encounter. These battles. And then next Friday, it'll be Cartman hosting on his stream. I'll be in the away role. I think there's great potential with Warsaken Blitz and co-streaming as far as teaching brand new players how to play. We're down to 25 in this game of Twitchy Tides. That next Warsaken Blitz game just ahead. Again, for tonight, I'm just playing Cartman Bra. It works so much easier this way. This is the way to do it for me, at least. And hopefully, soon enough, we'll have Game Reward XP mode. Once that's ready, oh, we're going to have so much fun with that. Seasons of War. Get that giant 15 million XP, whatever the tower ends up being. Ready to take it on. Ready to put a team together. People that don't have Warsaken cards yet. I'll have some very nice cards they can borrow. Some cards that nobody else has. Meanwhile, you got Pink Felicia cutting across here. We're down to 17. I want to be sure to tune in for Tides Tuesday of next week, an all-day event. Not unlike Warsaken Blitz with the Warsaken Friday. With Tides Tuesday, my leg of it starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday next week. Giving away some Faded Monsuda packs. Only way to win those to qualify for the drawings we're going to have. And the only way to qualify is to win on free form. A little bit different here. A winner of this gets a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. We're down to 11. We're starting with 33. Up next, we'll have our next game of the broadcast against Cartman Bra and Warsaken Blitz. It's Nashville Lou Live. I'm your host, Lou Pickney. We're down to 7. Winner of this game wins a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. That's for this Warsaken Blitz number 116. This broadcast, that's the prize, along with the item from the Nashville Lou collection. We're down to 6. So much fun with Twitchy Tides. Very easy to stream. Time just flies by with it. You can mix it with practically any other game. Even like with this Warsaken Blitz games that I'm playing with Cartman Bra tonight, this with Twitchy Tides gives everybody watching a chance to play. As far as getting with these Twitchy Tides games. So I'm out. Big Worm with a hook, we're down to 3. Autumn's Toys, My Druja, and Chucky, the final 3. Big Worm takes out Autumn's Toys, we're down to 2. Depth Charge takes out My Druja. That's going to do it. Congratulations. Chucky gets the victory. Chucky 0644. The winner of this third Twitchy Tides game of this Warsaken Blitz number 116 broadcast. Second part of my day-night doubleheader today. All right. Congratulations to Chucky. Along with Chucky, the top 10 finishers, of course, getting leaderboard points for that monthly competition. So for everybody from Jeff on up, including me, the higher the finish, the more leaderboard points, and ultimately Chucky gets the win here in this third Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. So it's back open right now for that fourth game with exclamation point play in chat. We'll get things started soon with our next Warsaken Blitz game with the broadcast, taking on Cartman Bra. All right, so Cartman is... Uh-oh, internet crash for Cartman. Okay. Good luck with the reboot. Please let me know. Cartman is doing an internet reboot, so may have a chance to have an additional Twitchy Tides game here. The way it goes with live broadcasts. Not much you can do if your internet goes out. We've got 11 people in for this next Twitchy Tides game, which may end up being sooner as opposed to later. Winner of this is going to get a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. And of course, those top 10 finishes get leaderboard points for that monthly competition. Like Cartman's getting the internet to reboot. We got people getting into this next Twitchy Tides game. Warsaken Blitz, Nashville Lou Live. Remember, when I'm done with my part of it, we're not going to be finished with this Warsaken Friday. We'll be doing a raid over to Heretic. It'll be at or about 9 p.m. Eastern, so plenty of time from now, but not too long down the line. We'll keep it going here. The 19 players in right now for this next Twitchy Tides game. Hopefully get Cartman back soon. That router reset, hold the internet up and going. It's Nashville Lou Live. Stay tuned. Back on headset with you here, Nashville Live. We'll get some more Warsaken Blitz in here in just a little bit. Bring this overlay down. Got 26 people in for this next Twitchy Tides game. Thus far, we've had 3 Warsaken Set 1 booster packs that have been won. Here in the course of this broadcast, it's the prize for this evening. Or whatever, afternoon, morning, whatever it is where you are. I know people around the world love this game. They love Twitchy Tides. Of Warsaken Blitz as well. So hopefully Cartman will have an internet reset and that thing's will be good to go. We're tied at 1. It's a home and home series for us, where I'm hosting this Friday, right now, what you're watching. And then next Friday, be Cartman hosting over on his stream. So hopefully it'll hold up. Whatever the case, we'll be doing a raid when it gets to 9 p.m. Eastern. Over to Heretic. We'll have the next part of the Warsaken Friday broadcast. We got 27 players. If you're not in already, you should get in now with !play in chat. We have a double rainbow with the rainbow Silver Catfish between what Soul the Cat has with hers and then mine. A double rainbow. What does it mean? And of course, the nice thing with the Twitchy team, where you got 5 different fish, say, okay, instead here, let's say, I'm going to switch it up and go with the Vape Ape. I've got the 2 spot, go with !play, number 2. Well, hopefully everything's okay as far as the internet connection goes. It's interesting, Rabbit Larry, you noted that both you and Boss Baby ran into something earlier as far as decided to jump. I'm trying to read on this small chat screen right here. Anyway, talking about how you're having some issues having to get the game restarted or to refresh. This is a little bit different. This is on Cartman's end with the internet, the router. Let me do a quick peek in over here on this to make sure. Still waiting for it to come back up. Okay. Okay. Hopefully work out. Let me know. Thank you. Alright, so we got 28 players in for this next Twitchy Tides game. Winner gets an item from the Nashville Lou collection. About work on wax. On the wax chain. And for set 1. Warsaken booster pack. We got 28 players in. In addition, for the top 10 finishers, you're getting leaderboard points. That monthly competition. People looking for top 10 finishes. Looking for victories. You get a victory here. You get a booster pack and an item from the Nashville Loot collection. If I happen to win, prize goes to second place. So this 4th Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast begins now. Good luck. We'll begin with 28. No worries, I understand how it can be. It's tough timing there, Cartman. I know it's tough. An issue earlier this year, just a couple months back, even that, or something across the street. It wasn't like, oh, I need to reset my routers. Oh, they had a box that got fried across the street. They had to go work on. So they fixed it. My internet normally works pretty well. That seemed to quell any problems. So this is an all-day Warsaken event. Next Friday, it'll be me taking on Cartman Brawl again in this time slot. It'll be Cartman hosting live on his stream. So the home and home series. We're down to 21 here. And hopefully it'll work out for Cartman with the internet. If for some reason it doesn't, we'll find ways to have fun here over the next hour and change. And then when the time comes, we'll do a raid over to Heretic, who will be the next with Warsaken Blitz. And of course, Soul the Cat. Cat's going to have her stream coming up later tonight as well with Warsaken. So that'll be a lot of fun coming up. So Pink Felicia has us down to 16. Rabbit Larry saying, Lil Man's having a lot of fun watching the fishies. They're very visually appealing, the fish in this game. The artwork, that's part of the appeal of Twitchy Tides, beyond just trying to get those leaderboard points. I mean, it's the way the motion when they're swimming around. It's subtle, but it's there. There's a personality, there's a charm to it. You've got different artists that are involved, and yet it all seems like it fits together properly and just slapped together. More than half the field is out. We start with 28, we're down to 13. I'm going to undersell this. We're down to 11, close to that cutoff point for people to get those leaderboard points with a top 10 finish. Winner gets that Warsaken Set 1 pack. Felicia coming through. Zach Bonifer is out, so is Autumn's Toys, but Autumn's Toys does get a top 10 finish. They're in the 10 spot. For everybody else remaining, top 10 finish as well, so a boost for that monthly competition. But who's going to be the winner? And it's Pink Felicia taking out Valky, taking out Parrot, down to 7. But I have to make a concerted effort for those Tuesday night. I love those Tides Tuesday broadcasts. Those are so much fun. But having on the big TVs, Pink Felicia comes through, takes out Chucky and Flantality down to 5. But on the big TV, when I've got that, all those fish up there, it's like, wow, I have to really turn away. Because otherwise, I'll start staring at that and miss out that a next enemy's heading this way. Speaking of enemies, it's a depth charge, takes out Flower. We're down to 4. Going Tonto, Jeff 0079, Random King, Canvas, the final 4, down to 3. Depth charge takes out Going Tonto. All right, so Cartman says I'm back. All right, okay, cool. Down to 2. Jeff and Canvas, the final 2. After this, we'll get this next Warsaken Blitz, the game going at the broadcast. Canvas gets the victories. That cannonball takes out Jeff. So 4 games thus far and 4 different winners. So congratulations to Canvas. You get that item from the Nashville Loot collection, along with the Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. Those prizes will be sent out shortly after the conclusion of the broadcast. In addition to the victory there for Canvas top 10 finishers, getting points for that monthly leaderboard battle. So Autumn's Toys on up. The better you did, the more points you get. Ultimately, Canvas gets the victory. In Twitchy Tides. We'll be back open for the next Twitchy Tides game. I'm not sure when exactly it will be. We'll get ready to hopefully get reconnected with Cartman Brawl with this 3rd game of the broadcast. But you can get into this next Twitchy Tides game with exclamation point play in chat. All right. Ready for me to send the code? I'll get a code over to Cartman Brawl. All right, good deal. Okay, will do. A little bit of a different approach here because with this, everybody can play Twitchy Tides. And that's what we kind of have in between these Warsaken Blitz games. And Cartman seems to have the internet problems squared away over at his location. So, small screen there with that Twitchy Tides box. You can get into that next game with exclamation point play in chat. it's admit-only Hex Tech, but there are some non-Hex Tech elements in here. I've done a little bit of mixing and matching when it comes to some of this, but with good reason. I'm going to send this code over to Cartman. Not that you can see the code. Luckily for me, it works out perfectly with that overlay with the categories that prevents anybody from snapping that code off screen. All right, so I've sent the code over to Cartman. So we'll be having a return match Friday of next week, this home and home series. I'm hosting here next Friday. Cartman will be hosting live on his stream here on Twitch.
Warsaken.
All right, here we go. Third Warsaken Blitz game of the broadcast. Tonight taking on Cartman Brawl. And we'll have that rematch Friday of next week over on Cartman's stream. That should be something to look forward to for next week. But it's mostly Hex Tech in with this deck. As I explained earlier with that title. And again, with a starting 8, you get the 15 sets of 4, and it deals you 8 cards. The way I look at it, if I have a pair that something I can play right away. So weather, intel, or force. Got a pair here with the force cards. Only use that mulligan if you have to. That's not going to necessarily have the answers to your problems. You can use a mulligan, end up with a worse second hand, and then what do you do? If you take that second mulligan, you give your opponent an extra card. No need to worry about that here. Keep. And the game randomly chooses one of the 2 players to go first. And just like it was for the last game, Cartman gets to go first here. So you begin with both sides. Both have the same leader card, funny enough. That's a nice card. Actually, they're not identical. I've got the Hex Tech version. But you get the idea. Roll 3. So 11 cards and 3 actions. Taking on Cartman Brawl here in Warsaken Blitz. We'll have another Twitchy Tides game coming up after this Blitz game concludes. Weather match. So that'll be an extra turn for Cartman. Roll 6. Uh-oh. So in about an hour, we'll be doing a raid over to Heretic, provided that he's able to have everything up and going and good to go for his portion of this Warsaken Friday. Of course, Soul the Cat, later tonight, we'll have some Warsaken Blitz. For people that are looking to play Warsaken Blitz, you'll have some opportunities with that. Here I'm taking on Cartman Brawl. Home and Home series next week. Cartman's hosting. We'll have a lot of fun with that coming up with Warsaken Blitz next Friday. So it's Force. The sneaky one, Agent Nika Devin. Look at her sneaking around the corner. Got her hand on the wall, the door, ready to bolt if she needs to. Good spy work. And then right here you got Azar Cyrus. Look at that. Lighting a cigarette with a blowtorch. Completely unfazed. Look at you, not too concerned, but not giving you a free pass. Either the Fabricator. Wow, so 4 actions passed up. I think that's what that was. This was passed to me with a giant 4 at the top. And again, when you have it, and you can customize it by deck in this game as far as the cosmetics. That includes the way the die looks. And for me, with my brand color, purple being the primary color, usually purple and white's what I go with the Nashville Lou collection. That's because Father Ryan High School in Nashville and the University of Evansville up in Evansville, Indiana, both schools, their primary school color by chance is purple. Like, okay, it was meant to be. I've incorporated that in my own brand color. So if you wonder why purple of all things, that's why. 4. Alright, so nothing makes a match. Get the wide open war zone. Play a pair of weather cards with freezing rainstorm. So I've got 3 spots open by war zone. We've got 4 spots in total, 4 rows. Where I've got 2 of the same They're both freezing rainstorm cards. They fit in the same row. I usually would say 3 spots open by Warzone. That's what I'm talking about, the different rows. 2 actions to go for the turn. I can put Force out there. I might. Okay, I'll do it. Play the G6 R75 Force. That's it for my turn. So I'm taking on Cartman Bra here in Warsaken Blitz. We're at 8 p.m. Eastern. Welcome to Nashville Lou Live. I'm your host, Lou Pickney. I'm a sports broadcaster, and I've fallen into this world of live streaming here on Twitch. Had a lot of fun with Warsaken Blitz in the past. Looking forward to all sorts of opportunities, especially when Game Reward XP is ready. But until then, we've got some ideas to be a little bit creative with it, including this like home and home series approach. I got here with Cartman Bra. We're playing here on my stream tonight, next Friday over on Cartman's. So a pair of Force cards there, and that ends the turn. My turn. 2. Well, sometimes you get what you want, and sometimes not so much. Yeah. So I've got 2 spots open in my Warzone. I've got a pair of weather cards, a pair of Force cards. Remember, it's the category that matters with Blitz. Doesn't matter if it's a freezing rainstorm, ideal conditions, volcanic eruption. All that matters is the category. I've learned more and more to value keeping that 3rd spot, that 3rd row in my Warzone open. Gives you flexibility, because if you got 3 wide, 2 deep filled, that 4th spot, if you fill it up, then you can get it blocked. You can have all sorts of problems. You can really set your opponent up well to use intel to bounce and really mess up several of your pairs of cards. You gotta be kind of careful what you put out there. That's just the way I approach it. Other players take different approaches. Anyway, long-winded way of me saying I'm going to pass up these last 2 actions and end the turn. Taking on Cartman Bra here in Warsaken Blitz. Roll of 3. Coming up for everybody getting a chance to play with Twitchy Tides. Winner of that Twitchy Tides game, just like the others we've had here with this Warsaken Blitz broadcast. The winner gets an item from the Nashville Loot Collection, along with a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. I had four different winners, 4 different games here thus far. So we're taking this to top of the hour. We'll do a raid over to Heretic when he's live with Warsaken when we get to 9 p.m. Eastern. So 3 actions to go here for the turn. And look at that intel. What was I telling you? Be wary of it. Now will this be a bounce, or will this be cards milled from my arsenal to my discard pile, or a forced discard? Remember, different possibilities, different options when it comes to an intel match. And again, an interesting approach. That's milling 6 cards from my arsenal, my deck, to my discard pile. My turn. 3. Well, that'll work. CX5 Viral Outbreak. WMD match. Just like the other categories, what matters in Blitz, it's just that it's a WMD match. It doesn't matter what it is per se. Once you've got that WMD match, you get to pick 2 of your opponent's territories to eliminate. If your opponent's down to 1, then it takes out the 1. You can play at most 1 WMD match per side in a given game of Warsaken Blitz. Those are both -4 morale each. The morale drops from 19 to 11. It really won't come into play too much with these games. Not on my side, certainly, but it does sometimes come into play, and it's worth noting. Roll of 4. But for people that are brand new to this, okay, what do I need to focus on, Lou? What's the really important stuff? Well, if you forego the morale part for the short term, Force cards, weather, WMD, intel, building, the categories that matter. So again, there's the oil engineer. Does the same thing that a Force match with a tank, an aircraft carrier, a drone. Again, they all act the same because with Blitz, it's the simplified version, the category that matters. So I'm down to 3 territories. Cartman Braw's down to 2. It's my turn. 5. So I've got a force match that I can play here with this third G6 R75. That force match allows me to eliminate a third territory. We'll eliminate the port of Karmasani. So Cartman Braw will be down to 1 territory remaining. I've got 4 actions to go for the turn. I've got 3 spots open in my war zone. I've got a pair of weather cards out there. Unfortunately for me, I've got nothing else that makes a match. Keeping in mind my opponent has played Intel already. Gotta be aware it's a possibility. So like, I'm just rushing to put like 2 sets of 2 force out there next to the weather. Then boom, another Intel gets played. And this time it's not my arsenal getting attacked, it's my war zone. Cards get bounced, then you got problems. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. But I'm not going to chance it. Passing was 4 actions and ending the turn. Taking on Cartman Braw here in Warsaken Blitz. After this game, we'll have another Twitchy Tides game. We're waiting again for this next Twitchy Tides game. Winner gets a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack and an item from the Nashville Loot Collection. 17 cards and 2 actions here for Cartman Braw. And for people that are wanting to play Warsaken Blitz, should have opportunities later on. Once Heretic is live, we do a raid over there between his stream and then Soul the Cat when Cat goes live a little later. Or people looking to play Warsaken Blitz, people looking to play Twitchy Tides, and that's everybody that wants to get in on it. Exclamation point plays the command for chat. They'll get you in. Even if you don't have a Wax wallet, if you're brand new to this, you can play for fun with the exclamation point play. There's that pullback there. Take some of the options out for your opponent. You pull your cards back from your war zone. Only 2 cards out there. If I play an Intel match to bounce, that's going to limit what I can target. All comes into play when it comes to Warsaken Blitz. All right, 3 actions here. Here we go again with nothing making a match. All right, so I've got a pair of weather cards out there. Now I'll play a pair of Intel cards. Caused production strike. We got picketers. We got signs. We got a message. So the pair of Intel cards next to the pair of weather cards. I have 2 spots or 2 rows open in my war zone. Just the 1 action to go with the turn. A pass of that action. End the turn. Taking on Cartman Braw here in Warsaken Blitz. Roll of 1 for Cartman. Now if there's a third force match to go with those 2 Private John Blackthorne. That a frightening card there, that mile-long stare. Don't look over here. WMD. My turn. 4. All right, weather match will give me an extra turn. I can play a building match and go back for force. Could get a cause production strike. Go boom, boom, boom with it. And I can do it this turn. Question is, from a force standpoint, what are we having here? A Goliath and an Omega. If I got those, I shouldn't just brush off this A4 Vintage Super Carrier. Okay, I've got 2 of the A4s. And I go Goliath. I go with a Goliath, go with an A4. Skip the Omega. And get the cause production strike, which I can play this turn. Also, with an extra turn, I'll have waiting on me. Let me think about this for a second. Okay, if I'm going back for stuff I'm going to have in hand, maybe I can win it here. Or am I not right about this? The music gets very foreboding when at that point, Mr. Pickney overplayed his hand. Okay, the intel, that's great and all. If I go extra turn here, do I need to do extra turn? I'm going to actually play this stuff. Maybe it will work. Maybe... No, I wouldn't have enough actions to actually win it here. But you try and do the math in my head. All right. Freezing rainstorm. Extra turn. Hard to read right here. There's a building match. There's a building. That you can read. Very tough to read that. Jackal Air Base. So again, building cards can really help you out. You bring cards from your discard pile to your hand. Be careful and make sure you know what you're doing before you start, because it won't let you go back and double check once you begin. The way it works. Part of the game. Extra turn. 5. One action shy. But I can instead do this a little differently. If I choose to. Matter on this one. I'll play the Omega 32 mech. That's a force match. I'll give my opponent a compromised leader. Eliminate that last territory, the vast hinterland. Save the vast for last. And now it's gone. I need a force match to win. Unfortunately for me, I have one fewer action than I need. I can just play a couple of force cards, even if I ran into some sort of intel problem. I have a backup. But I think the better move is actually to play the intel here. Knock that stuff off the board. Caused production strike. Sabotage. Let's bounce. Everything must go. Viral outbreak. Bounce. Both of these private Johns. Bounce. Alright, one action to go for the turn. A4 Revenge Super Carrier. Play one of those. That ends the turn. I need a force match to get the win. Taking on Cartman Brawl. Rolls a 5. Now this could be trouble for me right here. That's 24 cards and 5 actions. Typically, if your opponent's got 20 cards or more in hand, look out. In this case, though, wide open war zone. So who knows what might be lurking for me here. You would anticipate weather as a potential for an extra turn. After this Warsaken Blitz game ends, we're going to have another Twitchy Tides game. Exclamation point play. Type that in chat to get in for that next Twitchy Tides game. It's a home and home series for me here. I'm hosting for this week. And there's intel, was I telling you? You always got to be on the lookout for intel. Now this could mill 6 cards from my arsenal to my discard pile. Probably from 20 down to 14. Noting if that hit 0, at that point I'd have a compromised leader. Luckily for me, got what I need in hand already. Normally your opponent won't know that. Now if you're streaming, you can put yourself at a disadvantage putting it out there. It's a risk you take. Some players choose to have the obstructed view. I've won several tournaments without having to use any sort of delay or obstructed view. I don't think that... I mean, you can be at a disadvantage at times, yes. But it's doable. It's my turn. 3. I'm going to get the win right here. Opponent's got a compromised leader. All I need is a force match to win. A full revenge super carrier for the win. This third Blitz game ends. I'm up 2-1 on Cartman Bra. Good game. All right, good game. But the victory there over Cartman Bra. Playing Warsaken Blitz here on Nashville Lou Live. We'll have another game with Cartman here in just a few minutes. But right now, got 26 players in for this next Twitchy Tides game. Last call for it. I'll get in with exclamation point play. This time I'll use the 3 spot. Gonna confirm it's really me. It's not the fake Lou. No knockoffs, please. Exclamation here. Proves that it's really me. That Ray, that reindeer themed fish. We've got 29 players in for this next Twitchy Tides game. The winner gets a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack and an item from the Nashville Lou collection. Top 10 finishers, you're getting points for that monthly leaderboard battle in Warsaken Blitz. We'll have that coming up here in just a few minutes, that next Blitz game. And here with Twitchy Tides, that's what I'm talking about, that leaderboard battle. I finished top 75 last month. That's why I have that Ray. Get some of these exclusive fish. You got to perform. You got to get those top finishes. Means lots of games, lots of fun to be had. 30 players in for this next Twitchy Tides game. If I happen to win, prize goes to second place. After this Tides game, we'll get our next Warsaken Blitz game going. Right now, it's Twitchy Tides. 30 players. Everybody's verified and locked in, right? Okay, Chucky's in. We got 30. Let's get to it. Good luck. Starts now. It's Twitchy Tides here on Nashville Lou Live. We'll have another Warsaken Blitz game in a few minutes. Tonight I'm taking on Cartman Bra. We'll have a rematch next week. We'll continue the games, but this time it'll be Cartman hosting. So same time slots, the home and home. You know me, I'm from the world of sports broadcasting, thinking about whether it's international football, the aggregate, college football programs, American football, they book home and home games 12 years in the future for no particular reason. They love to book stuff they're not going to ever have to be responsible for. It's like it's a flex. And that's just the way it goes. All right, so we're down to 24 players here in this Warsaken Blitz broadcast, but it's Twitchy Tides game. The disco ball drops. I've got the music turned off for nearly everything I broadcast, and my own music. Stuff I get from Carl Casey at Whitebed Audio. Makes much of the great background music I use. But it's just fear of the copyright monsters. They don't play fair. There's no real appeal process of any. It's them chasing your tail. Cannonball taking the low road. We're down to 19. We'll have this Warsaken Blitz broadcast. Of course, with Twitchy Tides here right now. We're taking that up to top of the hour when should have Heretic going live. We'll do a raid over there once we get to that point. Hopefully the internet will hold up well on Cartman's end. There's not much you can do. It's a live broadcast and there are internet issues or router issue. Hopefully that reboot will continue to be what the doctor ordered there as far as Cartman's stream goes. Down to 13. You got people looking to get a top 10 finish for leaderboard points here in this Twitchy Tides game. Looking to win and get that booster pack. Cannonball pass by. We're down to 11. After this Twitchy Tides game concludes, we'll have our next Warsaken Blitz game. I'll be taking on Cartman Brawl again. We'll probably get 2 more games in. We'll see. I mean, you never know for sure timing-wise, but that's the idea I have here with that. I think with that, a couple more of these Twitchy Tides games, and we'll be pretty close to top of the hour. Down to 9. So for the remaining players, you got a top 10 finish. You're getting some leaderboard points here in Twitchy Tides. But as usual, the question, who will be the winner? Big worm with a hook on Parrot. We're down to 8. So we get a little bit of a different approach, but I've liked it here. Meanwhile, depth charge down to 6. CMC skis out. That's how the background looks darker. Canvas is out, so is Nadu, down to 4 after that depth charge. Aegis 2017 and Silent One. Both of them hooked. Down to 2, it's 4 Slayer and Autumn's Toys the last 2. The winner gets that set 1 booster pack from Warsaken. Autumn's Toys. That super spin. Well timed there. I see that depth charge. It really stands out in that darker background. That depth charge. 4 Slayer manages to get past. Freeze command for Autumn's Toys. Those are the last 2. We'll have our next Warsaken Blitz game here in just a few moments. Again, 4 Slayer gets past. Very narrow angle. Finally, expired finally, that depth charge. Pink Felicia up top. And again, Autumn's Toys, that super spin. These fish are fighting back. They're fed up. They've had enough of these opponents coming in there, wrecking their good time. They're going to make them pay. Felicia takes out Autumn's Toys. That's going to do it. So congratulations, 4 Slayer. 5 games, 5 different winners thus far in Twitchy Tides. Thus far in this Warsaken Blitz broadcast. So congratulations to 4 Slayer on the victory. And of course, for the top 10 finishers, getting leaderboard points out of it. So for Liquid, chill on up. All the way to 4 Slayer 1. Back open for the next Twitchy Tides game. Exclamation point play in chat. We'll get you in. Let's see if Cartman Bra is there. All right. Ready here with the next code. Well, I should actually get the code pulled up before I send that now, shouldn't I? Dog Deck. Let me make sure this is pulled up as well. Don't want to be hasty about it. All right. I don't want to have you where like there's a slate up that you can't see anything and then I miss it. That would make me unhappy. All right. So that's going to give me the code that I can type in here to get to Cartman. Cartman Bra's going to be hosting next week, this same time slot. I'll have a rematch, more of these live player versus player games in Warsaken Blitz. Double and triple check the code, make sure I'm typed it correctly. Hope that 0 is a 0, not an O. Or if I'm wrong about that, then it'll work anyway. So the code's sent over to Cartman. And look at this next game of Warsaken Blitz started soon. Already got 9 people in for the next Twitchy Tides game. Got some nice prizes here, those set 1 booster packs.
Warsaken.
So we'll have a 6th Twitchy Tides game coming up here in a few minutes. But right now, it's Warsaken Blitz. The 4th Warsaken Blitz game of this broadcast, taking on Cartman Bra. So I've won 2 of these first 3, but we'll see how this 4th one plays out. Remember, your starting 8 out of your arsenal of 60, the 15 sets of 4. You know, for me, I'm looking for a pair of weather cards, a pair of intel cards, a pair of force cards. If at least 2 of those, that's usually going to be what I'll stick with. And I've got more than that here, so I'm happy I'll keep it. This is the Turtle Cove background. You have the water, kind of the beach area. But this is a battle. I get to go first. The game randomly chooses one of the two players to start. Roll to 4. Let me take my overlay down for just a moment in that bottom left corner. See there, I've got the Savage Beast. You can customize that title as just like you can with the game mat or the card sleeves, those card backgrounds, or the way the die looks. You can customize all that in Warsaken Blitz. Quite nice. There's not a lot of empty space available, so it's either you have to compress the size of the screen to fit on your overlays. You gotta look creative with it, like I've done. Anyway, so I rolled a 4. And now you get to see what a forced discard looks like in this game, at least from this end of it. Subversion tactic. I mean, it doesn't matter what the card is per se, just that there's an intel match. Nothing to bounce. I got 2 choices here. I can mill 6 if I was going after the arsenal, but I'm not. So I'm going to force an enemy discard a 3. That'll come at the end of my turn. I've got 1 action to go for the turn. I'll play a weather card here with ideal conditions. Weather. Clear. Now the not so fun part for Cartman Bra. Those 8 cards. Now I can't look in Cartman's hand, but I can see what gets discarded and in what order. You can look in your opponent's discard pile in this game. In Warsaken Blitz. You can't do that in most card games. Or if you do, you might provoke a confrontation depending on the temperament of your opponent. But amusing when people are describe their emotions as temperament. It's usually not something you're spoken about in that's not like a way to build somebody up when you talk about their temperament. That's usually to be a negative. Compared negatively to dog behavior. It's all laughs for me, but not so fun here for Bartman having to decide those 8 cards in hand, which 3 getting sent to the discard pile. Oh, you know, I've got to finish this turn. No, I don't. Okay. That threw me off to that dies. Like, oh, do I have 1 more action? I'm here running my mouth. But no, it's Cartman having to decide what to discard. We'll have another Twitchy Tides game coming up after this Warsaken Blitz game ends. You can get in with exclamation point play in chat. We've had 5 games, 5 different winners thus far of those Warsaken Set 1 booster packs. So your chance to win coming up with that next Twitchy Tides game after this Blitz game concludes. So roll a 5. Oh, I didn't see the order. I was paying close enough attention. Ultimately, I guess it doesn't matter because it's a Violent Tornado, a weather card, and then 1H with the Force with the John Ryder and a Czar Cyrus. Meanwhile, a pair of Force cards played here. The S21R. So we get a rank 1, just a common Force card. Identical if that was a blood foil. There's only 4 of them total that exist. It's about as high end as it gets. For the purposes of Blitz, they function the same. So for new players, there's not a tactical advantage because I have maybe some nicer or more exclusive cards. Now, that's going to help me as far as recruiting players to put a team together when we get to that point. And Game Reward XP is ready. But from a gameplay standpoint, there's no advantage. And that's a good thing. Otherwise, who would want to get in if, like, buy a bunch of cards just to see if you like the game? To get, like, a decent... where you're not at a competitive disadvantage. Now, I'm sure there'll be some specialty tournaments set up. There'll be plenty of ways that players with those more rare cards will be rewarded. But I've got more than 13,000 Warsaken cards that I own. And I am very excited long-term with Warsaken and what's coming with this game. My turn. We already have here is fun. 3. Remember, the challenge has been just finding people to play. Getting it all coordinated. And so with this Warsaken Friday, this is a great thing to be part of. Got another half hour for my portion of it. And then next week, it's the home and home. So next week will be Cartman Bra hosting. And me playing in the visitor role. DX8 Force. With this dog deck, it's a drone dog in a Force match. Ultimately, that's what matters with Warsaken Blitz, the category. It's a Force match. Golden Farmlands. -4 morale. It'll be down to 3 territories. Morale drops from 19 to 15. That's it for the turn. Roll a 3. So I'm taking on Cartman Braw here. Just a series of games against Cartman Braw, and then for everybody a chance to play in between these Warsaken Blitz games with Twitchy Tides. That's open right now for that next game. Exclamation point play in chat. Winner gets a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. My turn. 1. Alright, well, I'll play a second Ideal Conditions weather card. And that's it for my turn. Taking on Cartman Braw here in Warsaken Blitz. Up next, Twitchy Tides. Exclamation mark play in chat to get into that next Twitchy Tides game. A force match. That will eliminate one of my 4 territories. Go with the Flame Tech Port of Carmasani. I looked at it now because guess what? It's gone. So the port is eliminated. We're both down to 3 territories remaining. 2 actions to go for the turn. So in about a half hour, we'll be doing a raid over to Heretic. We'll have some more Warsaken Blitz. People actually looking to play Blitz. Some opportunities with that, and then Soul the Cat later tonight. Pair of force cards, 2 sets of 2 force out there, along with a standalone weather for Cartman Braw. It's my turn. 5. All right, weather match for me an extra turn. Ideal conditions. Again, a tornado and ideal conditions are identical in function if you've got a force match or a weather match in this case. We're talking about weather. If you've got a match, that's what matters, the category. Weather match, regardless if it's tornado, freezing rainstorm, blasting blizzard, you get 2 options. Usually you'll want that extra turn. There are times where that +3 actions makes more sense, but usually the extra turn is the way to go. Before we even get to that, got a wide open war zone and 4 actions to go for the turn, and got a force match here with Beast, Soldier, Heavy. That force match eliminates a 2nd territory. We'll eliminate St. Purcell Harbor. Another -4 morale. Drops from 15 to 11. But again, that's likely to not come into play very much here with these games, the way these have been shaping up. 1 action for the turn with an extra turn pending. Remember that. Also the question, how long do you wait on that force? I'm not sure if I'll play anything here. I could play a stone, but I don't know. You know what, I'll play it. Stone. Soldier, dog. Extra turn. 6. Alright, so a weather match will give me an extra turn. Fire in the fields, weather. Hook me up with that extra turn. 3 actions still to go for this turn. Play a second stone. Soldier, dog. A pair of force cards. 3 spots open in my war zone. 2 actions to go for the turn. With that extra turn pending. With a pair of weather cards and that tropical cyclone. Extra turn. 3. How long do you wait? Pass up the actions in the turn. Roll of 1. Taking on Cartman Braw in Warsaken Blitz. After this Blitz game concludes, we'll have our next Twitchy Tides game of the broadcast. To get in for that next Twitchy Tides game, just type exclamation point play in chat. Force match. We'll both be down to 2 territories. Both of us still with potential to play a WMD match. None have been played thus far. Or none has been played. My turn. None of the above. 5. Weather match. I was really hoping a third WMD was going to drop in. If that happened, I wouldn't have needed this weather match. Now would I? Tropical Cyclone. A big blood foil flex right here. Extra turn. Alright, 3 spots open here. 4 actions for the turn. Play that second stone. Oh no! Oh no! That was a third stone. And there's no undo button for that. That's what you call a blunder. Oops. And yet it could work out. And that happened. Alright, 3 actions for the turn. I'm human, what can I say? Alright, different kind of dog. The X3 Black Dog tank. I'll leave it at that. Extra turn. 5. Let's think about this. Obvious move, even before the weather, is to play the X3 Black Dog. Sometimes, like I said before, that WMD match never shows up for you. Now it's immaterial, because I don't need it. Opponent's got a compromised leader, so all I need is a force match to get the win. I can play a building match, go back and get force. This, or this, or this. Don't confuse your dogs. I've got Rusty, but not Stone in hand. What about that DX8? Is that one of them? Yes. So I go back. I think that's the move, even though I've got weather. Because if I go extra turn that roll a 1, that's not a whole lot of good. I wouldn't want to have the building cards out there in partial form anyway. So I can do that. I can go back and get the... Make sure I do have, in fact, 3 DX8s here, and I do. I can play one of them. If it for some reason gets bounced, I've got 3 more in hand. Not exactly a prime use of that weather, but there's too much risk not being able to play this building card match. I'm not going to take that risk. Guard Tower. We'll turn 3 cards to hand. I have 4 of these. Play 1 here with this last action. DX8 force. But that ends my turn. After all that, a WMD match and a force match could beat me, and it might right here. 16 cards and 6 actions. If there's a WMD match, very easily be it. Also the opportunity for weather and an extra turn. Taking on Cartman Bra here in Warsaken Blitz, Nashville Lou Live. It's a WMD match. Uh-oh. Next force match wins the game for either of us. We'll both have a compromised leader.
Compromised.
Does Cartman Bra have a force match? If so, that's the game. Weather. Let me an extra turn. One action to go for this turn. Agent Zara, extra turn. Roll of 1. So unless you've got a third John that shows up, The second Agent Zera. If I roll a 1, it won't happen, but otherwise I'll get the win here. 1! What a rib! What a rib! That's how it goes in this game. Well, alright. DX8. That's it for the turn. Insult to injury. F5 to reboot or roll a 5 here. Let's see what that roll is. When it gets locked up like that, F5, it takes a couple seconds, loads you back up.
Leader compromised.
Gives you the quick update, the game reset. A force match would win it right here. This should surely do it, right? 15 cards, 5 actions. Does Cartman Bra have a force match? Nashville Live, play Warsaken Blitz. We'll have our next Twitchy Tides game at the broadcast after this concludes. It's Intel. Of course, that's Intel. That's better than Force. Force will be beating me. Intel, at least I got another roll, but there goes my DX8 or 6 or whatever. My Force cards bounced. You never know what to expect in this game. It's Warsaken Blitz here on Nashville Live. Next Friday, we'll be playing on Cartman's stream. This home and home series. So I get to host this one. Then next week, Cartman hosts. Pair of Force, incredibly, I get another roll here. Next Force match wins the game. I thought surely I'd have it be goodbye and good night there. Now my robot dogs are gone, but let's see what I can salvage. Here's the 5. And it's going to happen right here for me. Rusty, soldier, dog. For the win. Quite the battle there. Good game. All right. Good game, Cartman. Let's get this. Twitchy Tides game pulled up here. 26 players. Let me shoot a mess. I should double check something over here. We're a juggling act when it comes to live stream. So here's what I think is going to make sense. Let me double check with Cartman. Cartman noting I had 26 rolls. Cartman having 3. Usually it makes more sense if I type something, then I tell you what I typed. If I try and type and say it out loud at the same time, it ends up being like in broken English. It doesn't come out very well. Some people can pull that off masterfully. For me, I'm like, if I'm saying one thing and typing another, especially, that's where it gets tricky. So I think I'll wrap it up here soon. We can continue our Blitz games, our Warsaken games next Friday there. The home and home series over on Cartman's stream. We had that issue with the internet outage that Cartman had earlier. I don't want to cut it too close. I know that Heretic's actually live right now. I think he's doing something else. But he's getting ready to play some Warsaken Blitz, so that's coming up here in just a little bit. But right now, we've got 27 players in for this next game of Twitchy Tides. The winner of this game, just like the previous 5 in this broadcast, will win a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. And again, many thanks to Warsaken for that 5,000 bit cheer. Many thanks. And also thanks for those booster packs given to me some time ago. Warsaken. I'm very careful with the stuff that I'm given to give away. Want to make sure it goes to the right people, the right place. Take great care with that. We got 27. Am I in for this? Let me see. I don't think I am. Be careful not to get out of order with this. I'll get in with the vape ape. That's to prove it's really me. Mr. Pickney, can we check your ID, please? Sir, I don't drink anymore. I don't care. Yes, it's really me. All right, 28. As far as the people in for this next Twitchy Tides game. Top 10 finishers, you're getting leaderboard points for that monthly competition in Twitchy Tides. Then for the winner, get an item from the Nashville Loot Collection. Let me give a thumbs up here to Cartman Bronner. Discord chat, so good to go with that. So we'll have this next Twitchy Tides game. Then after that, we'll do a raid over to Heretic. So if he's not already over on the playing Warsaken, he will be soon. This train keeps a chugging. It's not just me. It's not even just Heretic. Past that, Soul the Cat. I believe she's going to be the last one in the mix. Really look forward to later on here in the evening U.S. time. Where people around the world love playing Warsaken Blitz. They love playing Twitchy Tides. Got 28 players in for this Twitchy Tides game. In top 10, you get leaderboard points. The winner gets an item from the Nashville Loot Collection and a Warsaken Set 1 booster pack. If I happen to win here with my vape ape, in that case, the prize goes to second place. This game of Twitchy Tides. Then the big windup. Okay. Yeah, this game of Twitchy Tides begins now. Once I click that button, there's no unclicking it. So we're underway with 28 players. And right away, that cannonball has us down to 25. So the fun with Warsaken Blitz continues after this, over with Heretic and then Soul the Cat. Right now with Twitchy Tides. We began with 28, we're down to 22. I just noticed the Zyle with that Santa. The Santa fish is in the game now. It may have been earlier. I didn't see it, but it's definitely in now. That's great. Meanwhile, Cannonball has us down to 17. There's always something new, interesting when it comes to Twitchy Tides. Never know what to expect next. Expect the unexpected. The Cannonball has us down to 14, so half the field is out. So we'll have this Twitchy Tides game. And we'll do a raid over to Heretic. We'll keep the fun going with Warsaken Blitz. And again, next Friday, I'll be the road team. Be Cartman hosting live. Cartman Bra will. Here on Twitch. So the remaining 10 players will have some leaderboard points for that monthly competition. Thanks to that top 10 finish. Now that Cannonball cutting through, we're down to 7. Of course, the better the finish, the more points you get. The way it works. Another Cannonball, down to 5. I'm not sure about Saturday from a live streaming standpoint. Hope to get some more freeform in as that big worm with a hook takes out a Zyle. Distracted by that Santa outfit. Down to 4. So we'll see about tomorrow. Or Saturday. Tomorrow, today. Talk about it in generic terms. There's a depth charge. That takes out Dave Ira. We're down to 3. Liquid Chill. Master A's. And I-420. The final 3. If I missed anybody in chat, it was an intentional slight. And let the juggle here. So again, next Friday, I'll be playing over on Cartman Braw's stream. That should be a lot of fun. And between now and then, we're going to Tides Tuesday. Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. 0300 UTC, Cannonball. That Cannonball takes out Master A's. And we're down to 2. Liquid Chill. I-420 Spit. The final 2. Depth Charge. The boom takes out Liquid Chill, so congratulations. I-420 Spit 710 Fire gets the victory. So 6 games of Twitchy Tides and 6 different winners. So a lot of different people winning those Warsaken Set 1 booster packs. Along with the item from the Nashville Loot Collection, of course. Alright, let's make sure I have this typed properly and saved. That's very important. I'm not sure if the correct slate's going to pop up when I do this, but I'm going to try it anyway. It worked. Alright. So we'll do a raid over to Heretic here in a moment. Let me make sure I've got the right thing copied over. I'm out of order doing this. I want to get to this point and then raid the wrong person. Like, I know it's Heretic, but I'll make sure I get the right. It's Heretic 6662. Lest you confuse it with any others. Very important when it comes to a raid. Make sure I'm going to the right place. But first, I'm going to do a SIG out. Have a cut point for VOD. Turn all of my broadcasts, or usually turn all my broadcasts here on Twitch into highlights. Once you do that, sticks around indefinitely here on Twitch in highlight form. So if you ever want to go back and watch something later or see a great performance you had in a Twitchy Tides game or whatever, you can do so here. That's going to do it for this broadcast of Nashville Loot Live. I'm your host, Pickney. Thanks for watching. See you next time.